Welcome back. This time we're going to talk about the cosine curve. So before we looked at the sine curve, now we're going to look at the cosine curve. You'll notice that it's basically the same. However, it starts in a different place. So before we started at 0 and did a wiggly line from there, this time we're actually starting up at 1 and going down. So you'll see it's exactly the same pattern. The period, which means the cycle after which it repeats, is still 360. So we go from the top back to the top after 360 degrees. We're just starting in a different place. So again, the period of 360 just means it starts to repeat itself. So back here, it'll just keep going on and on like that forever. So let's look at what we can do in terms of equivalent values, just like the last one. So I'm going to pick 60. All right, so if we're going up by 30 each time, let's have a look at 60. Okay, so this is 60. Where else does that happen? So this, remember, is 0.5. So that means cosine of 60 degrees is equal to 0.5. We just go across. We're going up by halves, obviously, according to our scale. So I look across here. When else does that happen? Up here. Again, we're going up by 30. So if this is 270, this must be 300. Now, just like the last one, the book is only going to get you to look at between 0 and 180. So we don't actually need to worry about this half of it at the moment. But you'll notice before, on the sine curve, we only looked at positive values because everything was actually up in the air until we got to 180. But this time we have some positive and some negative. So our rule is going to be a little bit different. So our rule this time is that cosine of x is actually equal to the negative cosine of 180 minus x. And we'll do an example and have a look at what that means. So we might use 60 again and try and find the negative equivalent of that. So I'm going to say cosine of 60 is the same thing as negative cosine of 180 minus 60. So that means cosine of 60 degrees is equal to negative cosine, and this is just 120 degrees. So if I have a look at where 120 degrees is, it's here, isn't it? So this is negative 0.5. So you see that cosine of 60 is 0.5 and cosine of negative 120 is negative 0.5. Or sorry, cosine of 120 is negative 0.5. So this is saying that, right? Because the value of this is the same as the value of this. It's just this one's negative and this one's positive. You can think of the x-axis as like a mirror. So we're like using mirror images. If we're only interested in going up to here, you can see that this half just reflects this half over the axis. So hopefully that helps you find equivalent values using the cosine curve.